You're watching Picks on Politics with Dan Manarino.
And welcome back to Picks on Politics, everybody. So primary day in New York City, quickly approaching, right? Just about 3 months away. And the incumbent candidate, Mayor Eric Adams, losing a key endorsement that he had last time around. Assemblymember Rodneyse Bichotte Hermelyn heads the Brooklyn Democratic Party. She's now backing former Governor Andrew Cuomo, despite being one of Mayor Adams' most loyal supporters, including during his corruption trial. And today, she's joining me to explain her change of heart. So Assemblymember, I know you're very busy. Appreciate the time.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
And let me begin with who you are endorsing in the race for mayor. You've been this longtime supporter of Mayor Adams, right, including his corruption trial. But you recently came out and said, you know what, you're supporting former Governor Andrew Cuomo. So many see that as a signal that there is a fracture in the support that Mr. Adams once had. So what was the change of heart for you?
Well, first, I want to say that, again, this is not an anti-Eric Adams campaign. I'm supporting Cuomo for mayor because, the city right now really needs someone who can push all the agenda that we need in light of what's going on in Washington, D.C. Mayor Eric Adams and I remains to be friends. I'm continuously loyal to him. I am continuously supporting him as mayor of New York City, and we're continuously talking and working together. So I don't want people to see that it's an abandonment. But we are pushing forward. There's a ground game out there to push forward Cuomo. We've heard the city of New York. New Yorkers want someone like Cuomo who is tough, who's experienced. And there's no other candidates who's experienced right now who can push the city forward.
Okay, so I hear you saying that. So have you had a conversation with the mayor, since you are so close? Have you had a conversation with him about the fact that you would be supporting Andrew Cuomo? And if so, what did he say about it?
Well, yes, he understands my position, and he knows that it's not policy, it's not personal, it's politics. He understands that I, as the leader of the largest Democratic Party in the whole United States, with over 1.3 million registered Democrats, have to make a decision. There's a number of members of the party who already came forth to support Andrew Cuomo. And so it was a wave, and, a number of Democrats are looking for me to lead. And so this was a decision. We did talk about it. He understands. And again, like I said, I continue to remain loyal to the mayor, but he understands the movement.
I've repeatedly asked the mayor if he is running for re-election because his operation is pretty bare bones at the given point, and if he's running as a Democrat. Now, he's repeatedly said yes. But he has kind of led the media and his voters to kind of believe that he may be running as an independent. So what have your conversations been with him about him running as an independent? And could that be why you didn't say, okay, I'm backing him?
Well, look at it this way. When I spoke to the mayor, he did say he's running for re-election.
As an independent?
He didn't say. There was the possible opportunity to run as an independent, but he did clearly state that he's still running as a Democrat. Whether it's the Democratic primary or whether as an independent, he's still running as a Democrat. So we're just waiting to see, because we're just waiting to see what happens, and especially what happens with the legal situation that he's in.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because you recently endorsed former Governor Cuomo, but you did, in fact, call for him to resign, of course, during the whole scandal that was plaguing him and over sexual harassment accusations from 11 women. So how do you justify the calls for him to resign and now to call for him to endorse?
Right. So first of all, it was about 3 years ago, I did make a statement based on the facts that we had at the time. And I want to say that my stance defending women's rights has not changed. OK, and I will tell you, for any woman who is who's accusing or who's been who has any allegations, I will support. I will listen to them. And my decision to tell Governor Cuomo at the time to resign was based on the reports. Now, since then, it's been 3 years. And with 5 district attorneys, both Republicans and Democrats, investigating the claims to bring charges, they were all dropped. Mm-hmm. They were all dropped. The civil suits came in and out. There was no evidence.
Well, and just to, not to interrupt you, but there are still civil cases going on with Andrew Cuomo. So if something comes with those cases, would you change your support?
It depends on the cases, and I'll tell you why. As a survivor of sexual assault, as mentioned, I'm a champion for women's rights, okay? But I also know that there's a thin line between, what's right and due process and accusations. I can tell you, as a Black woman, far too many in our communities have been denied of a fair process or equal rights, very similar to what Eric Adams is going through. He hasn't even given his due process rights. And so I think, we need to pause. I think many people prematurely probably told Governor Cuomo to step down at the time based on these allegations.
Do you regret that?
No, I don't regret that, because at that time, this is all that was presented to me. And so now that I see that there was nothing founded, I know of his work. I'm really supporting Governor Cuomo for mayor because he's been result oriented. I mean, he's the most experienced. He's served as the HUD secretary. He served as our attorney general. And now right now we're facing a lot of challenges. I mean, the Department of Education going to be completely wiped out. And we need someone who can manage the city, probably with an iron fist, and really be able to combat Trump and his crazy and bizarre initiatives and policies, dismantling pretty much all of our rights.
Yeah, let me ask you this. If the charges are dropped against Mayor Adams, right, and that would mean he'd have no criminal charges, and would that change your position on endorsements? And if he runs as a Democrat and wins the primary, does he have your support?
If the charges are dropped, he runs as a Democrat, and he wins the primary, I will absolutely have to support him. I will have to support anyone who wins the Democratic primary, because it will be that Democrat who's going to be faced off with a Republican in the November general election.
And just briefly here, because you did just touch upon a big what-if situation, these guardrails that the governor has kind of put in place, have they been presented to the Assembly or the Senate? And if they do come to you, would you vote on it?
I did not necessarily agree with some of these guardrails. Okay. I could understand it's to protect any type of bullying coming from DC. But again, we want the city of New York's mayor to have a level of autonomy, and I don't think it was necessary to that extent. And I was concerned as to why it was being done now, and unfortunately, it's because we have the orange man in DC who's making all these bullying tactics.
Okay. Got to leave it there. I appreciate your time. This is your first appearance on the show, but I'd like to have you back, okay? Keep these conversations ongoing. Great to talk to you, Assemblywoman.
Same here. Thank you so much.
All right. And still to come, everybody, a cell phone ban could be coming to New York City public schools. Mayor Adams saying this will do more than eliminate a distraction from class, but also improve mental health. Our Henry Ross up with that story coming up next.